Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime professional astrologer, psychic healer, and author. In this episode, my guest is Paula Venus, author of the new book, The Sacred Rays of God. Stay tuned to be inspired. Welcome to the episode featuring my guest, Paula Venus. You'll remember Paula Venus from a previous episode where we discussed the magic of Mount Shasta and his life as a Mount Shasta guide. If you want to reach Paul, you can reach him at www.paulofvenus.com. Venus has a capital V. Or www.mountShastaSpiritualTours.com. That's MTSHASTASPIRITUALTOURS.com. In other words, Mount Shasta is spelled with MT, then ShastaSpiritualTours.com, all one word, and Paul at Mount Shasta Spiritual Tours. In today's episode, Paul will discuss his new book, The Sacred Rays of God, A Journey Through Divine Light and the New Earth. In this book, Paula Venus unveils the profound wisdom of the sacred rays of God, celestial streams of divine energy that serve as keys to humanity's spiritual evolution. These powerful rays are overseen by ascended masters, cosmic guardians, and celestial beings who work to awaken higher consciousness on Earth. As we transition into the new Earth, the sacred rays offer a guiding light, activating our divine potential, expanding awareness, and aligning us with universal truth. Mount Shasta, one of the planet's most powerful spiritual vortexes, holds deep connections to the rays. And within this book, Paula Venus reveals its mysteries, hidden temples, etheric sanctuaries, and the role it plays in Earth's transformation. The rays provide an intricate map for spiritual mastery. Each chapter of this transformative book explores one of the primary sacred rays, delving into their cosmic origins, higher purpose, and practical applications in daily life. Through sacred teachings, meditations, affirmations, and activations, this book serves as a powerful companion for those seeking ascension, healing, and divine connection. The Venusian sacred rays, known only to a few, hold the codes for the evolution of consciousness and planetary awakening. Within the pages of Paula Venus's book, The Sacred Rays of God, you will discover the crystal ray, the magenta ray, the ruby ray, the opal ray, and the diamond ray, among others. These higher frequency rays offer advanced spiritual activations, helping light workers, starseeds, and seekers embody the divine light of the new earth. Whether you seek deeper connection with the ascended masters, personal healing, or planetary service, the sacred rays of God provide a profound framework to assist you in becoming a true embodiment of divine light. This is more than a book. It is a spiritual transmission as well as an invitation to step into your highest potential, awaken your soul's mission, and align with the cosmic forces guiding humanity into the new earth. Are you ready to activate the sacred rays within? Stay tuned and see what Paul has to share. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome back our guest, Paula Venus. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, Jill. Thank you so much for having me here in this space.
So glad to have you back and so very excited about your new book on the sacred rays of God, A Journey Through Divine Light and the New Earth. And my listeners can't wait to hear more about it. So tell us a little bit, what was your process creating this book,
hmm
which ascended masters
Yes.
communicated, and anything else you want to share?
Um, in the beginning, it was when I arrived here. It wasn't mystical, or it was very. I was broken and very destroyed, electrocuted in all of these ways, and the body was destroyed. It wasn't a reset. It was sort of God. saying, it's time, Paul, it's time. And I came here and through a process of deep surrender, I rented a cabin here in Mount Shasta, and then it began. And one day I surrendered to God on the mountain, but really, and not just once, but every day for months, and at least 5 months or so, 6 months, surrendering to God. And so what this brought was such surrender, and still in so much human pain, yet it didn't even matter, as I just wanted to be with God. The only reason that I came to Mount Shasta was to be with God. And every day I would go on the mountain, so I was exposed and being initiated first by Saint Germain. Ascended Master Saint Germain was the first one who came, and he came as feeling, and after feeling he came as frequency. He showed me how the Ascended Masters want us to know them, and through experience. And then one day I did. I knew that it was him, and I knew him as a frequency. You can't fake a frequency.
Right.
He began to guide me through alchemy, human embodiment, and all of this involved going into moments of humanity that created so much distortion and sadness and fears and guilt. There was so much guilt inside this body, so much feelings of separation and abandonment. So I came to feel all of this on Earth. I came from Venus to feel this. I still didn't know who I was, and I was just following. I wanted to be with God. Things began to evolve, and I was initiated first by Saint Germain and the Violet Ray. Saint Germain started to come into my cabin that I rented. He started to come into my dreams. Then they weren't dreams. He he took me to Venus. He showed me where I come from, what I do there, my missions in Atlantis. He showed me the technology that I brought from Venus to Atlantis, the technology that is still held now within Mount Shasta, geometric technology, God technology. And truly and he also didn't leave out anything human. Again, he brought me to all the fears, every moment, every moment of guilt. And through a period of 6 months, we alchemized this on the mountain and in the cabin. It took me a while. And one day it was done. There was no more fear. There was no more doubt. There was no more anything that was temporary. And I arrived at this moment. I still continue now to alchemize things as where we are in human history, where we are at a crucial point, an ending of a human cycle and a beginning of a new one. So it's very exciting time to be on Earth. And this year specifically, being 2025, it's very important that we end. And I've been ending for the past 10 years on Mount Shasta so much that I have come to Earth to end, to not let the fear come into this body and take over, or judgment, guilt, and all of these things. Just knowing that they are doorways, and they became my doorways. Saint Germain showed me that they are what he called God tools, doorways to freedom.
Wow. So that being the human experiences of emotion are the way through. You can't spiritually bypass. You have to feel it to heal it. And a lot of people are going through that right now on the planet. So this is very valuable information to share so people know that like this is part of the path. You can't just put that under the rug. You have to experience it. And then from that, basically dealing with subconscious or human collective experiences, which might be what you're processing coming from the vibration of Venus to the earth at this time. And then from that emerged the sacred rays for you as a technology. Can you speak a little bit about that, Paul?
Yes. The sacred rays of God are eternal streams of consciousness. They are a quantum field of creation that is part in the ways that God creates through frequency and geometry. And so I was on the mountain one day and I was leaning against a rock, a special place on the mountain that I know now as a doorway in to the mountain. And this rock dissolved. I went inside, and the next thing I knew, I was standing in front within the Ascended Masters retreat, and I was standing beside a flame, a beautiful white ray. And this white ray was soft and celestial. This is the Ascension ray. Ascended Master Serapis Bey is one who was present along with Ascended Master Saint Germain. The Ascension ray is something that is very present and lives inside of your heart, as all of the rays of God do. And that was shown the way that this ascension on earth would take place. And I experienced it, not just once, but I was shown this experience as if in the physical transition from the 3D into the 5D while I was sitting on Mount Shasta. While I stared at this flame previously in the temple, all of the information came as symbols and words, yet it wasn't anything to understand. It wasn't for the mind. It was something to know. It was a knowing. And I began to remember the first time ever that I had experiences with the rays on Venus. I remember being on Venus where the streams of creation, all the light streams of creation were flowing, creating worlds, creating universes and the heavens, watching these rivers of light cascade from the great central sun. And each one, again, a unique frequency, a divine purpose, a sacred mission. And now, from my journey from Venus to Earth, where I use these sacred rays daily, and there are more than 7. I have shared 14 rays that I use, others that I combine for on Venus and here on Earth, we combine different rays. The blue ray of the will of God, we may combine this with the green emerald ray of healing. And this creates a new ray, a new frequency for us to use here on Earth. Our bodies are changing, and these rays are here for us to utilize, to allow us to tap into the fabric of existence, truly the quantum field that connects everything, the oneness. And yes, and so it is this big who we are, what is present now, what is emerging, what has emerged from Mount Shasta and is present now. This is for all of us here on earth. And what I was shown, the way that this ascension is going to be, is very soft. It's not some huge electric shock, but yet one day when people are ready, the people who have chosen this, they will open their eyes softly, and all of a sudden you will find that you're in the same place but a different space, and the knowing of who you are. And in this place, this is the new earth where all of us will begin from there. The ones who have chosen to be in this new earth will open their eyes to knowing who you are, feeling oneness. And this is everything. This is your essence and the truth of where we come from.
Oh, I love this, Paul. I want to backtrack a little bit for some of our listeners that may not be familiar with the rays. Now, my introduction to it was back in like the late 80s, early 90s with the work of Alice Bailey, which then was part of the Theosophical Society. And this is probably the first time the West got introduced. I mean, the Theosophical Society brought these sacred teachings from India at the end of the 19th century and the early 20th century. And so it's of what you're speaking. Here we are 100 plus years later, but they made the association of these seven rays and the ascended master that went with them. For instance, the seventh ray, violet flame, violet light, and the master Saint Germain. It is the ray of transformation, bringing back sacred ceremony and things like that. So that was that. And then there's, I don't know if you want to familiarize the basic seven rays that have been presented. And then Elizabeth Clare Prophet in the 80s wrote much about the seventh rays and the ascended masters associated with them, as well as their locations. And she may have been the one, although I think it was popularized through the Theosophical work, that associated the ray with Mount Shasta, of Saint Germain, and some of the other sacred sites or vortexes of the earth with the different rays. Do you want to give just a little quick, kind of almost like historical or earlier perception of that? Because you are bringing up something that I kind of, in the 90s, we were talking about this, that what was going to happen, there would be new light frequencies in addition to the rays. And you spoke of this when you said the combining of the green and the blue, like the turquoise ray or the aqua aura ray, which, that hadn't been spoken to in the earlier work about the seven rays. So we do have these refined frequencies of which you speak that are the combination. And this is when it's, this is what they were all talking about 100 plus years ago. And then most recently about 40 years ago with Elizabeth Clare Prophet and Mark Prophet. So do you want to just give like a little primer of the seven rays with the masters associated and perhaps the location that they're supposed to be? I know that actually, I know Saint Germain is in Romania, I believe, the violet flame, but it could also be Shasta. I mean, from my understanding, there can be more than one location. So any background on that might be nice to share, and then we'll delve into this time and how this has this transformation, like what you're experiencing, the actual ascension transformation of which has been spoken about pretty strongly for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful where we are now. You speak about 100 years ago, and yet it seems like a long time, but 19 million years ago was when this is the beginning of a Lemurian root race on Earth. And this is when the God spark, the threefold flame, the ray of individuality was brought to Earth through an ascended master called Sanat Kumara, a beautiful, I don't feel any separation from him at all. There is no other.
He's a Venusian, right?
Yes, he is from Venus, and through God creates through us, and he brought the threefold flame. The threefold flame to the Lemurians, giving the Lemurians individuality, the, the, the essence of God, and through millions of years, infusing the threefold flame, which is a golden ray, a pink ray, and a blue ray. The gold is the wisdom of God, the blue is the will of God, the pink is the love of God. And this, through millions of years that Sanat Kumar remained on Earth, this allowed the Lemurians to rise in consciousness and to have one foot in the third dimension and 1 foot in the fifth dimension. And they were able to rise in such consciousness that they were able to be with the ascended masters. They rose to the fifth dimension themselves. And it was a celebration. It was a moment of such grandness on Earth. And the Lemurians are humanity's ancestors, really where humanity began in this human cycle is the Lemurian race. The same. So the threefold flame is one of the rays of God. And this is one that is not in the primary rays, but it is inside of all of them. And that's why I wanted to share this first, as the threefold flame brought God consciousness to Earth
And
at a time. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to interrupt, but it's like spirituality, like the threefold flame of God, is what I think in Christianity is called the Sacred Heart. I know in Vedic teachings, it's what is called the Rit Padma, and it's the jewel in the lotus in the Tibetan tradition. So that's what this is fascinating because I just learned it came from the Lemurian race, and then
It was given to the Lemurian root race. Yes,
yeah.
19 million years ago, 19 million years ago. So what you're sharing, that's so beautiful. And it's just now, 19 million years later, here we are. And here we are at a moment on Earth where there's an ending of a human cycle and a beginning. A whole new human cycle is beginning. We are in the middle, a space that I feel is the sixth dimension, a place of creation. And it's different on Earth, the sixth dimension, than it is in where it really exists. It's limited, but still, we are in a glorious moment. And now the rays have been revealed. The secret rays that have not been able to be on Earth since the times of Atlantis, since the times of Lemuria. And these are very special. For me, the most important ray for me is the threefold flame. But shortly after the threefold flame, it's not like one is better than the other, but the essence of God is everything to me. And the blue ray is the blue will of God ray. And the will of God is everything to me. This ray is one of the primary rays, and it is a sapphire blue. Archangel Michael is part of this team. The Pleiadians are part of this team. They are blue ray beings. The Arcturians, which are healers, scientists, are part of the blue ray beings. And believe it, that even though Venusians hold pink unconditional love and the golden ray of resurrection, the blue, we are still blue ray beings. And it's really fascinating that the beings that are beings of God in the universes, for the most part, hold the blue ray at their essence. And it's the will of God ray. And so it begins with this ray. This is where I arrived after such surrender, and after the Ascension ray was the will of God ray. And Archangel Michael, he has been the ultimate field of Christ light, consciousness, and protection. The Pleiadians have given me the most missions out of anyone else here during my time on Mount Shasta. They continue They are very mission oriented and love. They are here for the evolution of humanity. You see, the Pleiadians are sort of the human race in the future, and it's very important to them what occurs here. So they are beautiful, and there are many people, many Pleiadians in human bodies that are on Earth now, and as I know you know,
Yes.
we have come. This is the ultimate convergence now, where the blue ray of the will of God, the rose pink ray of unconditional love, just pure love, never begins or never ends. And these are all eternal rays. Emerald ray of healing, harmony, and truth. Truth has been really important. The emerald ray brings us to the truth, and that is something that you can find within yourself. All of this is inside of you, all of you. And the truth is behind all of the personalities inside of you. It is inside the silence, behind your heart, the freedom of the heart, the golden ray. Yeshua, Ascended Master Yeshua, has been so present with me on Mount Shasta. And I've had the honor of guiding his daughters, Rachel, Sarah. He had two daughters, Mary Magdalene. Here on Mount Shasta, their reincarnations. Yeshua spoke. I asked him what color ray he is. He says, I am all the rays of God.
Yes. He's the
And
embodiment of all the rays.
yeah, there has been ultimate forgiveness. The violet ray of alchemy has been what brought me here. For the violet ray is forgiveness. And right now on earth, what we need is the ultimate forgiveness, the highest forgiveness that you could give to everyone in your family on earth, anyone in your sphere of consciousness, anything that are governments and everyone, people who do horrible things on earth. You must use the violet ray to forgive.
It
It's
also
it's
transforms, right? It will transform that whatever negativity there
yes.
is through forgiveness. That's why something like the Hoa Open Noah prayer of forgiveness is so powerful at transmuting and
Mm-hmm.
dissolving the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
love hearing all this about the rays and as you're speaking, as you know, and many of our listeners know that we are in the time of frequency. We are in the time of frequency and vibration. And I work with sound through the Sanskrit mantras, which are ancient healing technologies that have come from the
Mm-hmm.
Kumars. Actually, they come from Venus because Sanat
Yes.
Kumar brought them to India way back in the day. I
Mm-hmm.
love what you're expressing because as you're talking about it, of course, you always give us beautiful transmissions, Paula Venus. But I also
Thank
like that we have the light version. We talk about the sound version of frequency and vibration, but you're
you.
working with
Mm-hmm.
the actual light frequencies of the pink ray, the emerald ray, the violet ray. And it occurs to me that when people do get your book, which by the way, where can they get your book, The Sacred Rays of God?
Yes, the sacredraysofgod.com. You can find it there. You can also find it on Amazon as well. I feel through the website it would be the best way. And it is a transmission. The way that this book began was through all my experiences on Mount Shasta. About 2 years ago, I found old journals that I had written on the mountain. I had so many experiences that it's very difficult to remember them all. It's a lot for the body. and some are impossible again for it's something that you know. And so what happened was I began to read a journal entry about something that happened to me on Mount Shasta, and it was a full activation. And the next thing I knew, I was writing and just writing and writing. There was no thought. This was for hours and hours. Sometimes my daughter Eden was sleeping next to me, and then the next day I would be on the mountain doing missions with clients, and then it would continue. It lasted. It was about 2 years, um, something like this, and it was, and then another journal entry, and then I kept writing, and it continued like this, and then the next thing I knew, it was hard for me to read. It was so activating. It was such a transmission of subconscious presence and the masters, all of it, just until now. There was a moment where, just as all the rays unite into one of the most beautiful rays, the rainbow ray, we are now uniting in all aspects of us, all the sounds. The rays have sound. They have sound. So when you're playing, it's very beautiful, unique frequency. The light aspect and the sound aspect is equal. It's light sound technology.
Yes. Yeah. So, if I understand, this is amazing. So, you went back and looked at your earlier journal entries. They started to inspire you to write, which I guess was the genesis of the book, The Sacred Rays. And then, as you were reading, you were feeling the transmission from what you wrote earlier. And then it continues through what you started writing for the book.
Yes,
So,
they're all lived experiences that took place through automatic writing.
so this is my next question for you, Paul, that like this book, The Sacred Rays of Gods, feels like it is a manual or primer for those who read it to start their own ascension process, or it gives them the tools that they need, because you said the actual function of the sacred rays is a technology. So do you want to say anything about how the book can enhance that for people and help them wherever they are on their path? And as you said
Yes,
earlier, not everybody's going to choose this, and that's okay. They can stay in their third dimensional reality and they can be in the polarization. That's okay. That's, it's not ours to judge what a soul will choose. But what you're saying is that the portals that are open right now and the new earth that's evolving, it's something that people can step into. But I like that you are offering a manual for it. So anything you want to say about that? Hey listeners, this is Jill Jardine, host of Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, and I have some exciting news for you. I've just published my first book called Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind, Sanskrit Mantras to Raise Your Vibration. You've listened to my episodes on Sanskrit mantras for the past 5 years, and some of you know that I am a certified Sanskrit mantra instructor and reverend in Sanskrit mantra through the lineage of Thomas Ashley Fraun, Namadeva Acharya. Well, this book is going to tell you more about mantras and how they can help you evolve, the importance of frequency and resonance, and sound vibrations that come from the cosmos. So you're going to want to get your copy of Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind by Parashakti Jill Jardine. Go on to www.innerpeacepress.com and order your copy now.
The Sacred Rays of God, each journal entry recorded activations that the masters had given and shown me on Mount Shasta and within the light realms of Telos, within the light realms of Shambhala, within Mount Shasta, the Ascended Masters Retreat. And within this book now, these technologies are shared, and they are nothing difficult. You don't have to be any advanced person. It's just your natural state. And this technology is for your human, to help your human to truly dissolve into you and to allow you to who you really are to emerge. So Saint Germain showed me many technologies. One technology I was shown is how to leave time and space, how to exit from time and space.
Cool.
Another tech, yes, it's beautiful to experience this and feel this, and you can experience this. There, he shared technologies on how to stop the human system completely, meaning allowing how to allow you to vibrate at your true frequency without any human interference. This is everything, frequency. The only thing that I am is frequency. I'm not, as all of us are. We are unique rays of God that make up who we are eternally. And these are part of a sacred rays. And we are this light, this eternal light of God in different forms. Love, the same love. We are all the same love. The ascended masters, you are ascended masters. You are goddesses, mothers, divine beings of perfection. And now, in this human moment, 19 million years later from the beginning of this human cycle, now all of the rays of God have come forward, allowing you and giving you the technology, the quantum flight of eternity needed for each human experience, allowing you to transform, alchemize, free, liberate, heal, surrender to will of God. It's just such a present right now. One of the new rays or ancient rays is the ruby ray. The ruby ray is a Venusian ray, and it is a ruby ray of peace and devotion, sacred service. And so when you connect to the ruby ray, you can just begin with imagination and imagine the ruby ray and begin to feel this feeling of peace and service.
This is beautiful. And I remember working with all these rays back, I don't know, 30 years ago with the healing center that I was teaching at and working at. And I'm so glad that like you're bringing the next evolution of the rays into the consciousness of people. And before we close out today, Paul, in addition to like sharing the book, everybody go on the website to get it. Again, share that. But I'm going to ask you before we leave, what is the message that the rays and the masters give for humanity at this time? I'd love to go out with a really nice message. And, you know, of course, it will inspire people to find out more about the rays. So I guess share the website one more time, and then I really want to hear what message at this time that humanity and those on this path would like to hear.
You can receive the book at the sacred rays of God.com. The Ascended Masters, your star families, they are celebrating. Everyone is celebrating for the light that is here. The new earth is here. It is surrounding this earth. And we are uniting the realms now. We are doing more. We are bringing the new earth and uniting it with the third dimensional frequencies. They are intertwined now. It is something that hasn't been on earth again since the times of Lemuria, Atlantis. This is allowing new light to penetrate our bodies. Know that what is taking place. I know that you're feeling fear. I know that you're feeling emotions, human emotions. It seems like such darkness. I am here to share with you that it is pure light, and the rays of God are here to guide you into the freedom of who you truly are and into the new earth that is already here. And all it requires is your surrender to the will of God, to the will of love, for this emergence to occur on earth. For your mission on earth is to be you and to bring heaven here, to bring the celestial realms here through your physical body. And so stay and know that it is a moment of great celebration. The new earth is here and all is well.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Paula Venus, for that beautiful transmission and inspiring message. Can't wait to see you in the light. And
Yes, Jill, it's so beautiful what's happening now. And I look forward to being with you here on the mountain.
oh, yes, I'll be coming to the mountain. And that leads us to one last thing to share. You share tours of Mount Shasta, and you want to share that website for anyone who might be
Yes,
planning on heading out there to experience all of this for themselves on Mount Shasta.
yes, you can visit Mount Shasta spiritualtours.com. MT is abbreviation. I offer private activations on the mountain. These are really missions. They're not tours, but you will enter the new earth frequencies. You will be surrounded in the ascended master's light, and you will feel this and know this. Also, if healing is needed, it is present and available. So please come. Remember, this is the end and the beginning of a whole new human cycle. So it's up to you. And you have been chosen, and you have chosen. You are the light and the hope and the answered prayer that began 19 million years ago.
Aho. Thank you so much, Paul.
Sending you so much light, all of you, from Mount Shasta, from the base of the mountain. May there be peace within all of our hearts, and know and feel the oneness that is always here now.
I hope you enjoyed this episode featuring my guest, Paula Venus, talking about the sacred rays. Make sure that you download, share, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending the Venusian sacred rays into the quantum field and back into your heart.